We can understand silent movies. We can understand facial expressions of other people. We also can speak with gestures when we don't know the language. Animals can understand our gestures and our body language, and they can exchange their signs to each other and understand all these signs. Body language assists us in decoding what other person is saying. It also helps us to interpret others' moods and emotions. Moreover, it enhances our conscious understanding people's reactions to what we say and how we say it. This all the importance of body language in communication. By learning about body language and practicing it, it's important for you, for your job, for your communication, for presenting yourself. Because people pay attention to your nonverbal communication and signals more than to what you're saying. To make people listen to what you're saying, you should learn how to say it. Today we are going to go through nonverbal communication essential points and understand how we can improve it. First, you might have a question of how to check what you should improve, how to remember, how to understand what do you actually do and how you act in the different situations and when you speak. Unfortunately, many people send many confusing or not correct nonverbal signals even without knowing about it, because we don't remember what we do, what kind of gestures we use in stressful situations or not expected conversations. We don't pay attention, and it's hard to control emotions sometimes, and even harder to control body language when you're too busy with thinking and decision-making process. First, I'm going to pay attention at discovering your body language, set of reactions, body reactions, hand gestures, facial expressions, movements of your head and shoulders and legs, arms, fingers. Why it's very important? Because 90% of your message, 90% of your whole information that you broadcasting to the world, to other people in a different situation, is about how you placing yourself with your body, with reactions, emotional reaction, facial expressions, how you use your hands, how you use your posture, and a lot of body language signals that other people perceive while you're speaking. And probably you can be not even aware of them because you're not fully aware, of what your body is doing while you're speaking. So the earlier you can discover and understand what you actually do, how you act in a stressful situation, how you stand and how you place your body in the environment, in the space around you with other people, the more you will be aware of it, the easier it will be communication with other people and understanding what other people think about what you say. I decided to start with fundamentals because this is a basic for building your effective body language and effective communication and presentation and public speech if you are a public speaker or would like to be a public speaker. To understand your body reactions and body language, you need to discover, and what I mean by saying discover, it means to understand where the pressure is. If you have some pressure, if you have some tension in your body, in some of the parts, to acknowledge that you have tension. For example, when you speak, you acknowledge that you have tension in your knee. You remember that you are shaking your hand or fingers or doing something with the pen while you're nervous while you're speaking. You need to be aware of what you're really doing in a different situation. You can just remind yourself, recall, and write it down as a list of possible gestures, hand gestures, possible reactions. You can practice it as a game every single time when you go out and speak to other people or having a presentation and you are acting and you can recall after what you did. This is a wonderful example and practice tool to understand what did you do and how people perceived you, and if you did achieve your goal at that time, a goal of connection, goal of understanding. If people understand you correctly, if people perceive the information the way you wanted, this acknowledgement will help you to fix blind spots, because we all do have blind spots. Also, you can make videos. Make videos, it means while you're practicing, if you're practicing public speaking, while you're practicing, you can film yourself and see what you're doing. See what kind of gestures and facial expressions you have while you're speaking on the different topics. Also, you can check other videos with your friends and understand how you act when you are in a friendly environment, in a known place, in a not friendly environment, workplace, how you speak with your boss, how you speak with your best friend, how you speak with your parents. These are all different nonverbal signals that we have with different people because the closeness is different, trust is different, nervousness is different. So the more you will be aware of what you're doing, what your body is actually doing, how your body is reacting with different people and in different situations, the more and the easier will be communication, learning and communication. Quick point here, because a lot of people are asking about that, about authenticity, being natural, being yourself. Not everyone wants even to acknowledge their body language, right? How they're acting, because they're fine. They're fine with their reactions and they maybe even not care of what other people thinking about them. Yes, it's true. It depends on your goals. It depends on your job. It depends on your current desires. If currently you are struggling with communication with other people, if you're questioning if other people really perceive you well, understand you correctly, if you are struggling with all this stuff, so you are in the correct path. You chose to understand more about your body reactions, about your body language, and enhance your body language to help your words to be heard by other people. So authenticity takes place here for sure. Being comfortable when you're speaking, when you are presenting yourself, and being and feeling natural with this, it's wonderful, and this is our goal. But this goal can be achieved after practice, and a lot of practice and awareness of a lot of things. And being authentic in different situations, it means that you are yourself with a particular over task for this particular moment of your life, for job interview, for bachelor party, for your speech on the graduation, when you have a very important conversation with an important person, when you need to pitch your project, when you need to protect your business and negotiate some very important deals for your business. It depends. It depends on what you do and what you want at current moment. And being yourself, it means that you are enhancing all the positive body language signals according to the situation, and diminishing the negative traits, the negative signals that you can do because the situation might be stressful for you. If you're not aware, ask your friends, ask your parents, your significant other, ask people who are near you and can observe you. You can ask them about your regular gestures, hand gestures, facial expressions, how you move your body, how you place your body. What kind of posture do you have usually when you speak to them, when you have a time with them? Next point, managing stress on the spot. It's very important, and this is the second point after the first one, because it's very difficult. It's difficult to manage stress and be aware and pay attention at the present moment on what you're doing, what kind of gestures you use. You're too busy with all emotional stress, with overwhelming feeling, that you cannot have a capacity, acknowledgement, attention to your body language, to your posture, to your eyes, how you smile or don't smile, to everything you do. So to help yourself with that, you need to learn how to manage stress on the spot, during the presentation, during the conversation. It means you need to take your time to think, to breathe, to take pauses, to understand. And wonderful little practice for that is to take your time and to come back to the reality. Reality, it can be different for everyone. It can be smell or action or furniture element or your phone or touch or some gesture that you can do to helping yourself back to the reality, back to your rational mind, because stress is irrational sometimes. Stress is overwhelming feeling, and you need to come back to rational part of yourself. So you can do, when you feel stressed, when you feel overwhelmed, you can do a little exercise to touch something that you like. I don't know, it can be just the table. It can smell of the coffee if you love coffee and you can smell it because it's your routine and you do it, you drink coffee all the time. You can smell and coming back to your routine. Routine is a reality. Routine is what rational for you. It's automatic action that you do all the time. Also, you can do whatever you want, but help yourself to be more present. Also, being present is helping you to understand that you are here with one goal. You need to finish this presentation, you need to finish the conversation, you need to pitch, you need to finish the talk, or whatever you do, and this is your present goal. If you're gonna think about future failures, about how you will fail in 5 minutes, about what people think about you, if you gonna think about your past failures and compare things to each other at present moment, yes, you're losing the reality, you're losing yourself right now. Third point, following out the point number 2, emotional awareness. Controlling emotions is difficult. Controlling your body language is also difficult. If you are aware of what makes you nervous, makes you emotional, makes you uncomfortable, you can prepare yourself to that with taking your time, making some exercises for reducing stress, reducing emotional level, because it's very important to reduce emotional level while you're speaking. The more emotionally aware you're gonna be, the more you're gonna be prepared to any different situations, questions, uncomfortable comments, or people who are not very kind sometimes. So this is your job to be fully aware emotionally on your emotional reactions and to control them in a good way and be authentic, be natural. It means that you can be emotional in different parts of your story, in different parts of your presentation and storytelling, for example. You can enhance a little bit your emotional side, if it is a case there in that storytelling. But you need to understand that controlling your emotions will help you to make your speech more concise, more clear, more straightforward, to reduce wordiness, because wordiness is something that we do when we don't have correct points. We use a lot of words to cover something that we don't know, the lack of knowledge, the lack of confidence. Emotions can influence us in a good way and bad way. So you need to be aware of how emotions can influence you. And also, it's very important to have this emotional awareness to understand other people, to be more empathetic. And if you understand your emotions better, you're gonna understand other people's emotions better, and you're gonna read that clues, that signals, emotional reactions that other people have, and you're gonna control the conversation. You're gonna have power over the conversation if you understand what people actually feel. Also, it will help create trust and good relationship with other people, a good connection with other people, and your nonverbal signals should match your words to build this connection. And people will trust you more. People will understand you more. People will have sympathy for you if you have sympathy and empathy for them. This is a mutual process, and emotional awareness works both ways. Last thing here, but not the least, is how you can process negative emotions. It's very important to recognize what kind of negative emotions you can feel and how you can process it. What kind of instruments and tools you can have to help yourself to control it, to process it, to make it work in a good way, not in a bad way. Next thing that is very important and curious is reading other people's body language. You can watch movies, you can watch and observe other people in the metro station, everywhere you go, everywhere you walk, in the park, when you walking with your dog, or just walking everywhere in the public, you can observe other people's reactions and emotions. I had to move with the sun moving to the right. Now we're going to talk about how to improve your nonverbal communication set. There are some points that you can follow to make your speech, to make your conversation, to make your presence and body language better. First, think about clearness and relevance. According to the situation you are in, the presentation you're going to have, think about all gestures and body language that are suitable for this situation, for this speech. Particular speech can be complemented by particular gestures, can be enhanced by particular gestures and body language that you can choose for this speech. Also, if you know that you might have not really functional and noisy gestures that can be confusing, can be distracting for your public, for your audience, reduce all not necessary gestures and body language, your facial expressions that is not helpful for your speech, for your conversation. I try to be concise with your movement, coordinational gestures as well. If you are speaking on one particular topic, try to use only gestures and movement that you need to, you have to make people understand your speech better. Following up the first one, the second will be body posture and movement. You move your body to help your speech, to help your words. You have this body posture to help people to see you confident, see you open, see you conversational, ready to answer questions, joyful, cheerful, positive. Next one, eye contact and facial expressions. You need to be aware of what kind of facial expressions are unconscious, that you do unconsciously, and try to also match those facial expressions with your speech, with your words. If your facial expressions and eye contact is not matching your words and is not complementing your body movement, it's going to be very confusing to people to understand what you mean and to understand if you are okay with your speech, if you are really confident and you know what you're talking about. Eye contact is very important. It helps to build the connection. It helps to build the first impression with people. It helps you to understand what your audience feels and what's the mood, overall temperature in the room. And you might have eye contact with a lot of people during the presentation and during your conversation, and not too afraid to make this eye contact, because without eye contact, people will be not paying attention at your words, will be distant to you and will be disconnected to your speech. Eye contact will help people to be connected to your speech, to be connected to your personality, to your authentic you, and to your goal, to something important that you have to say. Next point is spacing yourself around people. It's about how you're ordering your body in the reality, in the environment, in the space around you with other people. It's about how you let people understand what you want. It's about intentions. This is the next point. How do you know what your audience wants from you? What are your intentions in this conversation? And according to these intentions, you're gonna move yourself and space your body around people. Also pay attention on social and personal distance because it can be confusing for people if you don't respect boundaries and don't respect personal space. So pay attention on how people react, and different people have different boundaries and different preferences about the closeness, about space, about distance, and how you talk to them. Next thing, I already mentioned it, intention and tone of your voice. Tone of your voice is 80% of your message. It's very important of how you say things. More important that what do you say, because people will remember emotional part, the tone, how you express yourself more than the message sometimes. Pay attention on this because this is how people will perceive you and will have the first impression of you. In the presentation, in your speech and conversation, you can change your voice tone according to a storytelling, the narrative, the paragraphs that you have in your speech. Using voice modulations is very nice for your storytelling, for your speech, but pay attention that it should be organic, it should be relevant, it should be within your goals, within your conversation. Next very important thing that is very connected to the previous one is empathy and being an active listener. I already talked about this a lot of times because it's very important to build the connection with other people. Being empathetic and understanding and listener is giving you the power of being a real person that other people will remember. People will definitely remember your energy that you are broadcasting, that you are wearing. It's very important because you are creating the space, and the more friendly, the more positive space it will be around you, the more people would like to talk to you, the more people would like to understand your message, to listen to you, to buy something from you, whatever your goal is. The most important thing here is that the message in your speech, in your presentation, should be about your recipient. If you are making this presentation for someone to be heard, to make people understand you and to listen to you, you need to make this point. You need to make them listen by listening to them, by making the same empathetic move, by making and having the same attitude, giving them the same energy. Complementary gestures. This is the next point. I already mentioned that you're gonna use functional, not distracting, not confusing, only necessary body language signals and hand gestures. It means that you're not going to confuse, and you don't want to confuse your public, your audience, with strange hand gestures. That is not complementing your speech, that is not enhancing, is not helping people to understand you. To send the correct message to people is very important, but also, of course, the essential part of all public speaking and public interactions with other people and conversations is having a good time, having fun. The main point is, of course, your internal condition, your smile, your open-mindedness, your openness to talk to people, your positive attitude, your feeling of being comfortable and being yourself, and you might go to that direction. In a conclusion, I would like to say that nonverbal signals are very important and it can be faked. It means that you can work a lot and just decided to fake it, just decided to do everything you learn and look like a robot. But this is not the point. Do not fake it. Following up the previous one, having fun and having a good time and being you, it means that you're gonna control something that it's not relevant, it's not good and not functional for this particular moment, for this particular presentation. You're gonna not confuse people, but being yourself and being connected to the present moment is very important. No matter how hard you will try to fake it, people will see that. People will trust their gut and see that you feel uncomfortable faking it, that you feel uncomfortable being not yourself. So practice more, learn more about yourself, learn more about skills, improve your skills. My camera battery is exhausted and it's just interruption every 10 minutes. The last point was that with being yourself, with being comfortable, you learn, you practice, you discover body language and how nonverbal signals and communication works for you personally in the best way. Thank you so much for watching this video and talk to you next time.